Welcome to our deep dive into Lord of the Rings. We're not just talking about like hobbits and elves here. We're going to explore like the, depths of this literary masterpiece that has captivated readers for generations, like over 150 million copies sold. I mean, that's
Astounding. It really is.
Yeah.
What makes it so fascinating, is how Tolkien
yeah.
crafted this world so intricate and believable. I mean, it's not just a fantasy adventure. It's a meticulously constructed world with its own languages, history, mythology. I mean,
You're right. It's easy to forget the Lord of the Rings started as a sequel to The Hobbit.
Yep.
I mean, Tolkien's publishers, they just wanted more Hobbit adventures, but he had a much grander vision.
he did. He envisioned creating a mythology for England, a legendarium, as he called it. And this ambition, it's evident in the sheer scope and detail of Middle-earth. It's remarkable that he presented the story as a translation of this ancient document, the Red Book of Westmarch.
Yeah.
It's
That framing device that adds a layer of authenticity to the narrative, doesn't it? Or like we're uncovering this lost history.
Yep, exactly. It makes the story feel grounded, even though it's set in this fantastical world. And it's a single epic tale. Though it was originally published as 3 volumes, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King.
Right. That's why some people still mistakenly call it a trilogy, right?
Yeah.
Even though Tolkien intended it to be one cohesive narrative.
Precisely. And that narrative is masterfully structured, beginning with Bilbo's unexpected inheritance of the ring and Gandalf's growing suspicions about its true nature.
And those suspicions lead Gandalf on this 17-year quest to uncover the ring's origins, culminating in that terrifying encounter with the Balrog in Moria.
Yeah, that's a pivotal moment in the story. Gandalf's fall and subsequent return as Gandalf the White, it signals the rising stakes and the growing threat of Sauron.
Right. It's also where Frodo's journey truly begins. He's no longer just a hobbit living a peaceful life in the Shire. He's thrust into the role of ring-bearer, tasked with this seemingly impossible mission of destroying the One Ring.
And he's joined by a fellowship of 8 companions, each representing different races and bringing their unique strengths and weaknesses to the quest. We have Sam, the steadfast gardener, Merry and Pippin, the mischievous but courageous hobbits, Aragorn, the mysterious ranger who we later discover is the rightful heir to the throne of Gondor.
Legolas, the elf, with his unparalleled archery skills.
Yeah.
Gimli, the dwarf, whose loyalty and strength are unwavering. And of course, Boromir, the human warrior from Gondor who ultimately succumbs to the ring's seductive power.
Right. The Fellowship's diversity. It's one of the things that makes their journey so compelling. It highlights the theme of unity and cooperation, showing how these different peoples must come together to overcome a common threat.
Yeah, their journey is fraught with danger, leading them through treacherous landscapes, ancient forests, dark mines. They face orcs, giant spiders, even the complex politics of elves and men.
And all the while, Frodo is battling the ring's growing influence. The closer he gets to Mordor, the heavier the burden becomes, testing his resolve and pushing him to the brink of despair.
It's not just a physical journey, is it? It's a psychological and spiritual trial, a battle for Frodo's very soul.
Exactly. Tolkien masterfully portrays the internal struggle between good and evil, not just on this grand scale, but within the hearts of his characters.
And this struggle is set against the backdrop of an incredibly rich and detailed world. Tolkien didn't just create Middle-earth. He crafted an entire history and mythology, complete with languages, cultures, even songs.
It's astounding, his attention to detail. He spent decades developing his legendarium, drawing on his knowledge of ancient myths and legends, his love of languages, even his own experiences in World War I.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling to think that The Lord of the Rings took over a decade to write. It's a testament to his dedication and the depth of his vision.
And he didn't just write prose. He incorporated over 60 poems into the narrative, further enriching the world and providing insights into the characters and their cultures.
It's like those ancient Greek epics, where the poetry adds another layer of meaning and emotion to the story.
Precisely. And Tolkien's meticulous world building. It's evident in everything from the maps he created to the intricate backstories of the characters and the detailed timelines of events.
So he wasn't just making it up as he went along.
No. He had a plan, a vision for this world that he meticulously brought to life. And that's part of what makes it so immersive and believable. Take Gollum, for example, driven by his obsession with the ring, capable of both treachery and these unexpected acts of compassion. His internal struggle embodies that complexity.
It's like he's torn between two selves.
Yeah.
The creature corrupted by the ring and the remnants of Smeagol, the hobbit he once was.
Precisely. And then there's Boromir, this noble warrior tempted by the ring's promise of power. His fall from grace highlights how even those with good intentions can succumb to the allure of evil.
Yeah. It's a tragic reminder that the line between good and evil can be incredibly thin, and even the most heroic figures can be swayed by temptation. His struggle contrasts sharply with Faramir's resolute rejection of the ring, doesn't it?
It does. Faramir, though tempted, he understands the true nature of the ring and refuses to wield its power. He recognizes that even using it for a seemingly good purpose would ultimately corrupt him.
It's a powerful testament to his strength of character, especially compared to his brother Boromir. It reminds us that true strength lies in resisting temptation, even when it promises these easy solutions.
Indeed. And even within the ranks of those typically associated with evil, Tolkien reveals these glimmers of humanity. The orcs, often depicted as savage and monstrous, are given a backstory, a culture shaped by their history and environment.
Right. It's fascinating to consider that even those who serve evil might not be inherently evil themselves. They're products of their circumstances, victims of Sauron's manipulation.
Exactly. It challenges us to look beyond stereotypes and acknowledge the complexity of motivations. Even in those we perceive as enemies, Tolkien forces us to confront this uncomfortable reality that evil can take many forms, and that even those who fight on the side of good are capable of darkness.
It's that complexity that makes The Lord of the Rings so much more than just a fantasy adventure. It's a profound meditation on the human condition, on this constant struggle between our better and baser instincts.
Now, let's shift our focus to the theme of death and immortality, which Tolkien considered central to his work. It's reflected in the very quest itself. I mean, the struggle to destroy the ring is a fight for life against a force that represents a kind of spiritual death.
And the hobbits, with their mortality and love for the simple things in life, they stand in stark contrast to the immortal elves who carry the weight of ages on their shoulders.
The elves' immortality is bittersweet. They witness the passing of time, the beauty and sorrow of countless generations. Their longing for the lost lands of Valinor adds another layer of poignancy to their existence.
Right. They represent a different kind of struggle, one of enduring loss and yearning for this lost paradise. And then you have the ultimate example of death and immortality in the destruction of the ring and the downfall of Sauron.
It's a victory for the forces of good, but it comes at a cost. Gandalf falls to the Balrog and returns transformed. Boromir makes this heroic sacrifice. Even Frodo bears the scars of his ordeal, both physical and emotional.
Right, right. And the Shire itself, though ultimately saved, is forever altered by the events of the war. It's a powerful reminder that even in victory, there's loss, and the world can never truly go back to the way it was.
It underscores the enduring impact of conflict and sacrifice. Even those who emerge victorious carry the weight of their experiences. Tolkien doesn't shy away from the complexities of war and its aftermath, reminding us that healing takes time and that the scars of battle can linger long after the fighting ends.
Speaking of complexity, let's dive into one of the most fascinating aspects of The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien's creation of languages. He wasn't just a storyteller, he was a philologist, a lover of languages, and he poured that passion into crafting entire linguistic systems for his world.
He created not just one, but multiple languages, each with its own grammar, syntax, and vocabulary. The languages weren't just a gimmick, they were integral to the world building. They gave each race a distinct identity and added this layer of depth and realism to the story.
But how did he actually go about creating these languages? It seems like an incredibly daunting task.
Tolkien's process was both meticulous and inspired. He drew on his extensive knowledge of existing languages, borrowing elements from Finnish, Welsh, Old Norse, and others, but he also let his imagination run wild, crafting these new words and structures that felt authentic to the cultures he was creating.
So he was like this linguistic architect, building these languages from the ground up, but also incorporating elements from the real world.
Precisely. Take Quenya, the High Elven language, for example. It's known for its beauty and complexity, drawing inspiration from Finnish, but also possessing this unique sound and structure. It reflects the elves' ancient lineage and connection to nature.
And what about Khuzdul, the language of the dwarves? How does it differ from Quenya?
Khuzdul is much more guttural and secretive, reflecting the dwarves' underground dwelling and their reverence for craftsmanship. It's influenced by Semitic languages like Hebrew, but Tolkien intentionally kept much of it hidden, adding to the dwarves' mystique.
So even though we only get glimpses of Khuzdul in the books, it still plays this significant role in shaping our understanding of dwarvish culture.
Exactly. And then there's the Black Speech, the language of Mordor, which is harsh and guttural, reflecting the oppressive nature of Sauron's regime. It's designed to sound menacing, representing the antithesis of the beauty and harmony found in the languages of the free peoples.
It's amazing how Tolkien uses language to create atmosphere and to convey the very essence of each culture. Even if we don't understand the specific words, the sound and rhythms of the languages themselves tell a story.
You're absolutely right. The languages are more than just a collection of words. They're tools for storytelling, for building a world that feels real and lived in.
It's like listening to a song in a foreign language. You might not understand the lyrics, but you can still feel the emotion, the power of the music.
Precisely. And that's what Tolkien achieves with his invented languages. He transports us to another world, immersing us in its sounds and rhythms, even if we can't decipher every word. It's a testament to his linguistic brilliance and his dedication to creating a truly immersive experience for his readers.